Monday again, and before I show you what sold over the weekend, it is mail time. And I know what you're thinking, mail is really exciting, and so is this package. Show you what I got in here. Got delivered just about an hour ago. A 6-pack of printer paper roll. Oh man. 5 and 6. And what? A packing slip? Haley, look at this! Shh. She wasn't very impressed. Anyway, so over the weekend I sold 8 items at an average price of $35 each. Not where I want to be. I'm still waiting for the holiday rush to come, but it has just not hit me yet. I mean, average price is still good, but anyway. Mabel, it's okay. Haley just left and Mabel's all upset about it. It's alright, puppy. She'll be back. Thought I had something else to say. Anyway, here's what sold. I don't sell a lot of clothing, but I did sell 2 items of clothing this weekend. This is like a vintage surf Vior. It's sold to a kind of beauty vintage store in Seattle. But it's pretty neat. A teal and maroon Colombian windbreaker jacket. These are pretty cool. They're old Kodak camera film holder things. A lot of 17 new VHS tapes sold for 50 bucks. A Lacy 80 gig hard drive. Oops. 4 vintage car mugs. I had these listed individually for about a month and they never sold, so I took a picture of all of them together and they just sold for 40 bucks. This GPA riding helmet. These are pretty good helmets. They feel like they're well made as well. Sold for I think 65 or 69, one of the two. And last is a Polar T31 heart rate monitor. These usually sell pretty quick when I get them. Never for a lot. Maybe this was $15. I'll have to look. But yeah, that's it. Pretty good coffee. It's a Thai coffee that it was a little bit cheaper than some of the other ones. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is, and I roasted it darker than I normally roast. Just everything about it. It's just a good rounded cup of coffee. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I got at the outlet today. We just turned on our heat yesterday, and today is November what is the date? November 6th. For the longest time, wherever I would live, I would always push, and most of the time it would happen that we wouldn't turn on our heat until Thanksgiving. I mean, plenty of things to be thankful for, but it was kind of the point of it. Like, turn on the heat, be thankful for the heat, and you definitely suffered a little bit through November, especially in Indiana. But living in this house, and there's somebody in the basement, you know, we don't want to make them suffer just because we're waiting for the heat. But it's really nice. It's great. Okay, so I've got 2 Guitar Hero guitars, both Xboxes. They should both sell for about 40 to 45 each. Got this rug, which is for the house, just like it. Cool rug. So I don't really want to show everything because it's not that exciting. A lot of remotes for camcorders. This is the plunger and a cup for a juicer. I didn't want to buy the whole juicer because it's not worth it, but like these parts right here will each go for about 15, or I could sell the whole juicer for 30. It's just, this takes up less space. Alright, what else? A carbon receiver for microphone. It is just the receiver. This is a pretty cool piece, and I'm kind of wondering if I've showed one of these on video before. I sold one of these at the beginning of this year, right around February, I believe. It's a stovetop espresso machine, kind of like a, what's it called? Shoot, I can't remember that machine. I'll put it right here. That one. Okay, but it's kind of like the same method as that, but it just builds up pressure, and the espresso comes out of here. You can also milk froth. It's missing the top piece, but I think it will still sell for about 40. I got this little cute thing for my brother. Craftsman battery charger. These always sell quickly. This I got for myself. I'm always grabbing like high 8 tapes, mini DVDs that have been recorded on, just because I like to watch other people's stuff and see what's on it. 90% of the time it's nothing interesting. The last one was a high 8 tape, and somebody recorded outside their door for the whole length of the tape. I don't know, maybe they were experiencing like vandalism and they were trying to set up like a homemade security camera. Anyway, this says color positive timing tape to be run at 100 degrees, small tubes. And on the back, color negative timing tape to be run at 95 degrees. It's just odd enough, and I don't know what it could be referring to, so.
Dump now and fill. Stop path 30 seconds coming up.
So anyway, all it is just verbal instructions for somebody who's developing photos, developing film. Okay, so you don't need to look at a clock, and you can just hear it. Cool. Welcome to making sauerkraut with Jordan and the curious pup that's gonna sniff everything, Mabel. So first, I got these jars yesterday from a fermentation or from a brewery supply store, and I got airlock and yes, he told you this is what this is. Don't get your germs on it. And I need to install this rubber plug into the top here. I do not have a drill bit large enough, so I'll try to work things out here. Drill by hand because I'm a man. Maybe. Maybe I can kind of drill it with my knife by spinning that around. See, it just needs to be as perfect as a perfect circle as possible, because once I stick that plug in, if there's going to be like rough edges, yeah, like that, it's not going to work. Okay, so I've gotten a little bit of a hole here, but it's not even. So the next step with making sauerkraut is a Dremel. Don't be too scared. That does a pretty good job. All right, check the hole. Not quite. That actually, ow, melted it a little bit. Sorry, I bonked you on the head. The next step to making sauerkraut is cutting up the cabbage. All right, add salt, another bowl, some gloves. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off the outer leaves, just because, you gonna smell them? Just because they've touched, who knows what, and washed it, but I'll still take it off. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this in half. Cut the sucker right down the center. Core it, which is pretty much just taking a diamond, triangle, whatever shape out of here. And of course you can eat it. I don't know if cabbage is okay for dogs. Here's a small piece. You won't eat it anyway. Wow, I like this core. Hey, get up here. Leave it alone. Come on. Sit. I know. I know. I know. I know. Why don't you sit? Sit down. Good girl. That's how you help. Oh. Cabbage and plastic all over the floor. This is gonna be more than I thought. I was worried that one cabbage wasn't gonna be enough. So, just if you want to know, because I know I was curious and I know that you're curious too, a half a cabbage weighs 534 grams. That's a lot of cabbage. I have 2 of these glass jars. I wasn't planning on making this much, but shit, maybe I will. Okay, so what you need to do is make a 2% salt brine, or 2 grams of salt per 100 grams of cabbage. Since I had 842, I'm gonna go ahead and add, 58 grams to just make it even 900. Is that right? I'm the worst at math. That's so easy too. That's 64 right there. Just a little cabbage for me. Yeah. Okay, so that means I need 18 grams of salt. Let's tear that out. That does not seem like enough. Put too much in. $18. Okay, so as I'm looking at what 18 grams of salt looks like, that doesn't seem right. Give me a second, I'm gonna check the internet. It's right. The next step is to sprinkle it on. And then just massage your cabbage for a while. I wish I had a bigger bowl. Dig my fingers in. Already it's starting to lose water. Like my hands are wet. Very quickly that salt starts to do some work. Good job, salt. But at this point it just needs to sit, it needs to lose water and do its thing. So I will be back in a couple minutes. Probably like 30-ish. Alright, so the sauerkraut, the cabbage, has been sitting for almost an hour, really. I thought it would take less time than that, but about half an hour in, I came in and massaged it a little bit longer, and it just didn't seem like it produced enough brine yet, released enough water. Yeah. Okay, but now, if you see right here, there's quite a bit of liquid going on. Alright, I'm going to try not to make a mess and just pack it in as tight as I can. Yeah, I mean you can see it's dripping everywhere. And I already cleaned out this with hot soapy water. I'm hoping it fills it up. Oh, that's one whole cabbage. That does not fill it up. I can pour in this liquid brine here. Okay, Now I made sure to keep a few larger pieces right here because you don't want the tiny pieces of cabbage floating in the water. So I can just kind of take a bigger piece, press it down. Alright, you can see the airlock has water filled to this line right here on both sides. So when air comes up, it will bubble through, but no oxygen will come out. Or no oxygen will go in. Alright, so that's in place. And now I just kind of wait a couple days. I think it will be ready in 3 days, but the longer you let it sit, the tastier and I guess funkier it will get. Good girl, Mabel. You did a really, really good job. It's okay, pup. No. Haley. It's Haley. See? You see who it is? You see how exciting that is? See? I bet. So excited to see you.
What are you doing?
Filming an episode of Jordan and Curious Mabel make sauerkraut on the couch.
On the couch?
Mm-hmm.
How are you doing that?
I mean, we finished it, but we made it here.
Oh, we can't eat it yet. Right?
No, not for a couple days. I think it turned out.
Good. Ah.
I got a whole head of cabbage, and I thought that would be too much. It wasn't enough for one of those jars.
Is that okay? Should I
Hope
get
so.
more? I don't know if I like that rug there.
It doesn't have to be there. I don't think it looks good there either.
Okay.
I just thought it was a cool rug.
I do like the rug, and I wish that we could find something that looked good there, but there's just too many clashing
Right.
patterns.
I just didn't even really think about. I just put it out there to see what it looked
But
like.
yeah, I do like the rug.
I thought it was a little bit bigger when I got it.
Yeah.
Originally, I was thinking maybe I'll use it for the computer chair, but I don't think it's big enough for
Or
that.
maybe if we switch these. But we can do it there right now. Why don't you let me go this way?
Because I haven't eaten them yet. But not for you.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I found that using the oil makes it not taste bad.
Really?
It sits. Yeah, I think it might be a mixture between. What are you getting? Oh, I see. Mixture between creative and tea.
Yeah.
Hope this turns out. Yeah, I filmed with 2 cameras. Hey, be gentle.